has dominated supercars for a decade. Even when he wasn't winning races or championships, he was still the man to beat. He is, of course, Jamie Whincup, now a 7-time supercars champion, and that, of course, makes him one of the all-time greats. J-Dub, welcome.
Thanks, folks.
Big congratulations, obviously.
Yeah, thank you. Number 7, it's a big number. I was happy with 1 championship, but somehow I'm sitting here with 7, so I couldn't be happier.
Well, it's the biggest number ever. It's going to take anyone a long time to beat it. Obviously, statistically, you are the greatest of all time, and this opens up the debate, well, without reserve, are you now the GOAT, the greatest of all time?
Oh, that's not a question for me. That's a question for everyone else to procrastinate over and have their opinion, you know. As I always say, I love the sport, love competing. Still only 34, still feel like I've got a few years left in me yet, but certainly enjoyed the ride so far, and I'm very grateful for the team I've had behind me and the unbelievable equipment, and I've been able to get the results through, you know, just great teamwork.
This 7th championship, I would say it's probably been the most difficult for you to achieve. It was a roller coaster ride and huge drama in the end. In the past, you've always ranked your championships equally, but this one, is it special?
Yeah, it is special. I've always not wanted to rank one above the other, only because I didn't want to disrespect the ones that come before us, but we went out in the boat yesterday with my engineer Couchy, and we've got two championships together. And 2014 was that rain-delayed race in Homebush, and it was like we were standing around and, the race has been called off, we've won the championship. It was all great moment, but it was all fairly flat. But what happened Sunday at Newcastle, going in the last day, 80 points down, and then not knowing that we've won the race until 20 seconds after we've crossed the line, that's an unbelievable scenario. We're all half in a little bit of shock, a little bit of disbelief, but at the same time, it was an unbelievable feeling. That 15 minutes after the race, when we knew we'd won it, that was very special. Something I'll never forget.
Well, going into the last lap of that last race, you thought you'd lost it, hadn't you?
I didn't know anything. I was driving the car. I had no idea. The team did a great job. Just worry about our job. Worry about getting that finish line first. Which, trying to beat the rest of the field, that's tough enough as it is to score maximum points. So we did that. We crossed the line first. Everyone was very conservative on the side of the track, and I thought that's not a good sign. And I drove into around turn one, just waiting for someone to radio me, but there was no word, because there was still confusion of what was actually going on. So I radioed in and said, what's going on, guys? Give me an update. Expecting to hear, Scotty's come 10th or 9th or whatever, and we've run 2nd. Another big delay, and I asked again, let me know what's going on. I got no idea what's going on. And the next radio call was just screaming didn't hear no words, just screaming down the radio. And at that moment I thought, this is good news.
After what happened on the Saturday, I mean, clearly you never gave up, but you must have gone into that last race thinking you were pretty long odds.
Yeah, definitely. We were pretty gutted on the Saturday night. We'd grounded out for 3 or 4 months, round after round, just trying to score point after point against unbelievably good competition who had a fast car that would qualify ahead of us 9.9 times out of 10, but we had to race back and try to, we were always starting behind the 8 ball. So for those 3 or 4 months of grinding it out and getting to the last round with 30 points, just a handful of points, was a tough old grind, and we knew we just had to grab every point we could and just try to finish well. And for it to be a slight contact on the first lap and me being the wall, no points, and he went on, and we'd lost over 100 points after 4 months of grinding it out. That was fairly gut-wrenching. We knew we were a long shot, but just never say die.
I mean, the whole year was about never giving up, wasn't it? Because Well, you weren't the fastest driver, the statistics say that. You didn't have the fastest car. Triple Eight were just a little slightly off from what we'd seen in previous years, and DJR Team Penske, and particularly Scott McLaughlin, just came in gangbusters. So it was just fight, fight, fight all the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were off from a results point of view, but our performance last year was as good as any. Just another team stepped up, which is, at the end of the day, that's awesome for the sport. And now it's our job to step back up again and do the same thing. So it's just that's just made the whole category a better place. But yeah, I felt like I'd done 3 or 4 pole laps. When I drive a lap and feel the grip and get the most out of it, 4 or 5 of my laps last year would have been on pole, no problems. But there was another car a couple of tenths up the road, which you have to take. So we'll go away, work hard, and we'll come back swinging. Not over.
It just so few wins and so few poles, and it was halfway through the season before you even got your first win for the year. Yep. That was unusual.
Yep.
Even previously you'd never gone that deep into the series without a win. Since 2006, really. Yep. So, I mean, did you have to dig deep? New reserves? Did you have to draw on?
Massively, and then. The mental side of things, we haven't had a win, but we can still do this. It's still well and truly in our grasp. So no, we grounded out hard for 4, 5, 6 months from the middle of the year onwards to give ourselves any opportunity. And it was just a never say die. We wanted it more than anyone else.
Scott McLaughlin gave it his all, threw everything at it in that final race, but due to a cascade of events, he was pipped at the post, and dramatic victory for you. Subsequently, the team raised doubts about the pit lane speeding infringement, even though acknowledging that they couldn't change the result, but it cast some doubts. Were you, to put it mildly, disappointed that they questioned the result in effect?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. If they think there was an issue with the system or the system can be improved, absolutely. Put your hand up and say we can make it better. So no, not at all. They did it respectfully. They didn't come out and say we should have won. They said, hey, there could be an issue here. I don't know what the findings were. I can't comment on what went on there. But yeah, it's just an electronic loop, and the Dorian on each car goes over it, and if you go over it under a certain time, you're going too fast. So I don't know if there was an issue or what the case was, but no, that didn't deter from our result at all.
Looking ahead, next year, do battle again. You want to win number 8. How much more difficult will it be to win it, do you think? And will you need extra motivation just to, once again get up to do it?
The feeling I got Sunday at Newcastle, that's what life's all about for me. That's a money can't buy experience. That's what I compete in sport for. Is that moment. And when you get that moment, all you want to do is do it again. You just live for those moments. That's what's most important to me. So, no, I'm as hungry as ever. I was as hungry as ever this year. I can't see that changing next year. We had our worst result at Bathurst in a long time, which was disappointing. So certainly I want to make sure we improve Bathurst next year. But we weren't the quickest car, so we've got this massive carrot. In front of us. We didn't have the quickest car because of the combination of drivers, engineers, and the guys and girls back at the workshop building a better area, and that's what motorsport's all about. It's not, we don't just bring our runners to the track and then it's all, the athlete does all the work. There's a big game going on to build the best car, and then there's another big game going on to race the hardest on the weekend. It's a cool concept. So we're looking forward to that game in trying to make our car faster, and then we'll go to the track and do what we always do and just represent that as best we can.
2018 will be the final year of your existing contract with Red Bull Holden Racing Team. In a good position for renewal talks, I would have thought, as the reigning champion. But I mean, do you want to stay there? Do you want to re-sign with Triple Eight?
Yeah, I do. I definitely won't go past my use-by date. Once I get to a point where I don't feel like I'm at my peak or I'm holding up a spot for a young kid, I'll definitely get out. But I'm only 34, so I still feel like I can be as competitive as ever at 35, 36, 37. So I won't go too long. I'd love to do another 1 or 2 years with Triple Eight, because it'd be silly. I think it'd be silly to change now. So yeah, looking forward to trying to renew my deal for at least another year or two. But it doesn't matter how long the contract is. If I feel that I'm uncompetitive at the end of next year or the end of the year after, then I'll certainly hang the helmet up.
And what about defending your Bathurst 12-hour victory? Do you have a deal yet? Are you looking for one?
Yeah, no, I do have a deal. I've got a Scotty Taylor Motorsport is running a car for Kenny a Bull. His name, so he does a lot of GT racing around the world, and yeah, we're going to run an AMG. Would have been nice to drive the Ferrari again, but the Ferrari won't be entered this year. They couldn't get a budget together. So yeah, the second quickest car that weekend was an AMG. So jumped into that for the weekend.
And I pretty much ask you this every year. Overseas aspirations, any?
Nah, not at this stage. The Race of Champions, I love doing that event. That conflicts with the 12-hour actually next year, so can't do that. But 15 supercar races a year, plus the 12-hour, plus trying to run my businesses outside of motorsport, and still somewhat have some sort of a life as well. That's fairly hectic for me. So no, I'm certainly not trying to add another motorsport race on my calendar at this stage.
Speaking of activities outside of racing, we're here at Loca Cafe, and which is also aligned with your Washed for Cars enterprise. And when we arrived, it all looked pretty busy. How difficult is it to juggle running a business and being a professional racing driver?
There are difficulties. Every time I need to be really clear that motorsport is absolutely first and foremost. So I do not compromise any of my motorsport aspirations to run a business on the side. But like motorsport, I'm very lucky. I just got good people around me. That yeah, my name's on this business. My name's on the championship trophy, but at the end of the day, it's a combination of a group of people, and I'm very lucky. I got good people around me that make me look good and make all this possible.
Jamie Whincup, it's been a great year. Time for a break.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
and
Christmas.
Have a great New Year.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, Jada.